So today you are going to write your job advert. This is what we've been working towards for the last couple of weeks. So we did our benchmark task. We have looked at examples of job adverts. We've looked at the language in job adverts, how they're set out and organized, what features they have, and we've learnt some skills. We've looked at facts and opinions, and we've concentrated a lot on modal verbs over the last few days. And now we've planned our job advert, and now we're coming to write it. So I'm going to model for you a job advert, and this is the kind of thing that I want you to do. So I'm looking at my plan here very closely because I've made lots of notes as I went through with you yesterday about what I'm going to put into my actual job advert. So I'm going to write it out now, and I'm going to follow my plan to make sure that I have it organized properly and I've got all the correct features in there, plus those important modal verbs which I'm assessing you on. So first of all, I started with an introduction. So this is my introduction that I have written for the start of my job advert, because I wanted to start with some questions, and then I need to tell the people who might be applying for this job what the job is for. Are you committed to making sure that children reach their potential? Do you want to be part of a hard-working and dedicated team of professionals? Do you believe in making learning fun? Perhaps this is the role for you. St. John's Primary Academy is an outstanding academy in the village of Clifton, and we are looking to recruit a new Key Stage 2 teacher to join our team. So there I've taken my notes, and I've written them as full sentences, and I've added in the detail. I've used some of the vocabulary that I've learnt from writing job adverts, such as dedicated, committed, recruit, which means to employ, to have a job. So that is my introduction, and that's the kind of thing that you are aiming for. Some questions, and then say what the job is and where it is. Let's look at the next part. The next part was the duties of the role, and again you will have written down some notes as to what the job involves. This is my writing. A successful candidate will need to be responsible for a Key Stage 2 class. They will need to plan and deliver lessons and also monitor and assess the progress of the pupils. You may also be required to deliver collective worship sessions and lead an after-school club. You will also have to supervise the children at break times. As this is an outstanding academy, you should be prepared for a commitment to hard work and long hours. Okay, so this details what I want this person to do who's going to work for me. And I have taken my plan ideas, I've written them in full sentences, and again, I have used the language that I learnt from job adverts. The successful candidate. Anybody who applies for a job is a candidate. Any one of them could do that job, but it's who actually gets it. They are the successful one. So this is the person who's going to get the job. So I'm using vocabulary like successful candidate. You will be required. This is what you will need to do in the job. Okay, so that's the second part where I've written out some sentences describing what they have to do. Also, on my last paragraph, you'll notice there I've used a different sentence opener. It's difficult on a job advert to use a variety of sentence openers, but I've tried here by putting, as this is an outstanding academy, comma. So I'm trying to use my other writing skills as well. Let's look at the next part. Experience. Again, following the notes from my plan, we are looking for someone who has the following experience. You should have at least 3 years of experience at working in a primary school. You must be able to prove that you have taught to high standards before and enabled the children to reach the highest standards that they can. You must also show that you have worked in other age groups, as you could be asked to teach other classes. So again, a series of sentences from my plan explaining what experience I want this person to have, because I want somebody who's going to come in and be able to do this job and do it well. Okay, let's have a look at the next part. Right, this is the section where you're saying if you'd like to apply to this job, this is who you need to get in touch with. So for mine, I put, if you are interested in this position, please apply to, and I wrote my notes in my plan, but here I've written the full details of the name and address of the person and the school. And I've also put the telephone number and the email address on as well. And by doing that, what am I also using? I'm using a colon as well. So I'm using some of my other writing skills as well. Making sure I've got all those capital letters and all my punctuation correct. So that is a model of how I want you to do your job advert. I've put it all together here because I want to highlight to you all the modal verbs that I've used. You've probably been spotting them as I've gone along, reading through that. But let's have a look at the whole thing. It wouldn't quite fit on one slide, so I've had to split it on two. And I've put a big title at the top, Teacher Required, because you need a title which says what the job actually is. So there is my job advert, and I've put in bold all the cases where I've used modal verbs. So on the third paragraph down, the successful candidate will need to be responsible for a key stage 2 class. They will need to plan and deliver. On the next one down, you may also be required. You will also have to supervise. On the next one down, as this is an outstanding academy, you should be prepared. And at the bottom on the experience, you should have at least 3 years. You must be able to prove. You must also show that you've worked in other age groups, as you could be asked. And there are the details of how to apply at the end. So that's a model of how I want you to set your job advert out. Do write it neatly. Do pay attention to capital letters and full stops. Remember, you're going to be using people's names. You are going to be using people's titles, like Mrs. Boothroyd, School Business Manager. You are going to be writing an address. And remember, place names, names of people, and titles start with capital letters. So I look forward to reading your finished job adverts.